It could be more body horror and nightmare fuel than you remember if you watched Inuyasha as a kid and re-watched it today. In feudal Japan, where there are tons of imkai, which are supernatural creatures from Japanese folklore, most of the anime takes place. They are translated as demons in English in Inuyasha, and often occasionally in other anime. There is a lot for a child to be frightened of in a world of demons, magic, and more. In Inuyasha, regular human villagers often live in fear and die like ants under a giant demon's paw. Some, though, were much more horrifying than others. They may not have frightened older audiences, but some young children found some characters to be frightening. Here is a list of 10 characters that are intimidating. Inuyasha's half-brother is a complete devil. He's pretty racist against humans and has a lot of problems with his dad. He is like their father, a demon of a dog. Well, he usually looks like a pretty elf. He has long white hair, his forehead has a moon mark, and his ears are pointed. That is not, though, his true form. His real shape is monstrous. It's a giant dog that can easily swallow a whole human being. His eyes are blood crimson, and on his face he always has this maniac smile. Sesameru is usually a calm character, but it seems like the way his true form is designed shows an inner beast that we usually don't see. Without the primary villain himself, this list would not be true. For many reasons, Naraku is intimidating. His powers are repugnant. He's a bug man with tentacles, spider legs, and all those other nightmarish pictures. His flesh often separates, moves on its own and digests other creatures. The reality that personality is only pure evil does not help his case. He's one of those villains who has no mercy, no emotion, and cares only for power. If he has ever been met by a fan, they know that they are doomed. He is a master manipulator, in addition to his powers and personality, who made Inuyasha and Kikyo turn against each other. Some of the series' best villains were the Band of Seven. They were 7 mercenaries brought back to life by Naraku to fight off Inuyasha. In their way, they were all intimidating. It's not every day, though, that you see someone who's part tank and part man. That's what Genkatsu is. His fun and insane character design considering that he exists when tanks are far from being invented in the feudal era. You get very little of the personality of this character, other than the fact that he's mercilessly down for killing. This character also appeared in the arc of Band of Seven. Saint Hakushin is an undead priest who was on purpose buried alive. During the process, however, he realized he didn't want to die. Actually, his character is based on a true historical practice called Sakushinbutsu. The fact that he looked creepy was what made this character so intimidating. You feel like he is unpredictable despite never moving. His eyes are inhuman, his skin is dead, but somehow in that terrible state, he is alive. Heroes that have a dark side, especially in anime, are big. Inuyasha has the form of a demon that makes him an unthoughtful killing machine. He is the strongest member of his party, so it's basically chaos for everybody once this happens. His eyes glow red, his fangs grow, his claws sharpen, and his friends are no longer recognized. And there's just an instinct to attack anyone. In fact, this mask was adapted to be a little more child-friendly in the anime, which says a lot because it still frightens even older viewers. It is a mask that feeds on individuals to create a body for themselves. As the body is a blackish blob made of absorbed dead people, it is gross. One of the worst parts is also that this mask, not feudal Japan, appears in the modern world. They eat cops and firefighters, and they're gone forever. In the manga, the mask was much worse, as the comic shows a mask eating some young people and getting a body of flesh with human faces and limbs on it. While this mask was no major villain, in terms of dark content, it certainly made a mark on the show. In addition to Naraku himself, many of his incarnations have been horrifying. Compared with some of these abominations, Kagura was lucky. Gishinki, who was a giant purple ogre who could read minds, was there. Kyojuro, which was basically a parasite with a human face, was there. There was a baby who could control people with a mind. Then there was Muzo, who stole the faces of people until Naraku absorbed him in a terrifying way. It makes us wonder if Naraku's parts are worse than all of his. If you go into Inuyasha without knowing what you are in for, Mistress Centipede is rather unforgettable. She's the first demon to meet both Kagome and the audience, and she's a really frightening woman. She has the giant body of a centipede and a human woman's torso. As the episode goes on, she just gets worse, becoming less and less human by displaying fangs, losing her skin, and growing more arms. She's also massive too. Her body is doing tons of harm to Keed's village. This demon woman, despite looking human, scared a lot of viewers. Her layout was simply unsettling. It is suggested that, like how Onagumo became Naraku, she may have been born human, but used necromancy and magic to become a demon. She is the one who is bringing back Kikyo from the dead. Immediately afterwards, she dies, so she's certainly not the most intimidating one on this list. Her creepy face is not easily forgotten, however. By lesser demons, in the background, we mean demons. While Inuyasha or Sesshomaru may be weak, human villagers are constantly eaten and murdered by these monsters. They look terrible, often resembling spiders, centipedes, ogres, titans, and more. As children, we loved how even the lesser demons looked intimidating. The world was so fantastic and dangerous, and that was really demonstrated